Rich, dark caramel, one of my favorite things, is melt in your mouth delicious, especially when it's homemade. I know this is a kitchen conundrum that you have encountered before, and that is, dun dun dun, it's the crystallized caramel. Here in my pot, you can see this is what crystallized caramel looks like. You have every intention of making that golden brown, amber colored deliciousness, but sometimes it ends up like this. Well, you don't have to start over. There's a super simple way of fixing this, and that is by just adding a little bit more water. So I have some regular room temperature water here. I'm going to add it to the crystallized mess. And now what you want to do is you want to bring this up to a boil, and you want to re-dissolve all of the crystallized sugar. So this will take a few minutes. As the water comes up in temperature, it will start dissolving those big crystals, and then eventually they'll just turn into sugar syrup, and then you can start the process of caramelizing the sugar over again. Always, when you're making caramel, you want to make sure to have one of two things. A brush with a little bit of water, so you could brush down the sides of the pan if any crystals form, or the same thing works with a lid, because what the lid does is the steam rises to the top, collects on the lid, and then it washes the crystals that form down along the side of the pan, almost like it's raining. So you can keep this lid on until your sugar syrup starts to caramelize. So give it a check every once in a while to make sure it's cooking and caramelizing. So it's been a few minutes. Let's see how our sugar syrup is doing. It looks great. It's nice and viscous. You can see how the bubbles, they're popping, but they're slowly popping. You know that this means that you're getting close to your caramel. Oh, look, see, we have around the edge here, it's starting to turn a slight amber color. When that happens, start rotating your pot, swirling it around, and what this does is it encourages the caramel to caramelize at an even rate. Now, caramel's great for a number of things. You can make a brittle with this. You could make a caramel sauce, which I'm going to be making today. So have on hand about a half cup of heavy cream, because you're going to pour this in right at the right moment when you have that nice dark amber color. So we're getting there. So really all it takes is that little bit of extra water to dissolve the crystallized sugar. You don't need to add any more sugar to your syrup, because what's happening in this process and in the process of making caramel in general is that all of the water is evaporating and you're really only left with sugar in the end. Now, as always with caramel, whenever you're making it in a darker pot like this, you want to take it a shade darker than you really are comfortable with, because it seems darker than it really is. If I took a spoonful of this caramel off and I put it on a white surface, it would be lighter in color. But since I'm making it in this stainless pot, it's going to seem as though it's done before it is. So dare to go to the dark side. We look good here. I'm going to pull this off the heat, and I'm going to add the cream. Now you want to make sure that you add the cream off the heat so that this mixture doesn't bubble up and over your pot. Whisk it together and let this cool slightly before you enjoy it. And there you guys have it. So if you ever crystallize your caramel, hey, there's an easy way to fix it. Enjoy your caramel, guys.